I think Bitcoin displacing gold and having the monetary value, and, I say it's, half of the monetary value, which today is 25. So that's 12 and a half, something like that. And some would say, no, it's higher than that. Maybe it's closer to 20. Fine. Let's call it 20 trillion. So gold at 20 trillion, that's $1 million Bitcoin. Done. Awesome. Easy. 24 months. I'm going to take the over. I'll tell you exactly how many months. It is June, July, August, September. 52 months. We'll hit $1 million. Because every halving we add a zero. So this halving we added a zero to 100K. Next halving we add a zero to $1 million, but we won't hit that until the end of the Bitcoin fall, right before Bitcoin winter. So this fall will be October. We'll have the crash, then we'll have to come back, then we'll have the halving, and then we'll have the ramp into...
Mark Yusko, the founder, CEO, and CIO of Morgan Creek Capital Management, made that audacious forecast. The price of Bitcoin might hit $1 million by September 2029. Yusko believes that when Bitcoin reached $100,000, it wasn't the most amazing event in its history. Rather, it was when it started to have any real value. The rise of Bitcoin from $0 to $1 was the true miracle. That instance demonstrated the viability of a decentralized future, the effectiveness of the technology, and the ability to transfer value without the use of banks. The fuse was lighted by the spark. Since then, there has been a noticeable trend in the price of Bitcoin. A zero is added to the price following each halving. Yusko thinks Bitcoin will reach 7 figures in the next years if that trend continues. It may exceed $200,000 in this cycle, all the way to $1 million. If you're intrigued by bold predictions and deep financial insights, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more engaging content. Thank you for your support and enjoy the video.
Coming in with this legislation if they're going to proliferate in the US, but curious what your thoughts are on all that.
Look, stable coins are the future of payment rails. I talk about this all the time. The first time I bought an NFT sitting on my couch in my pajamas on a Sunday using MetaMask was glorious. Not because the NFT did anything, but just because I didn't have to wait for Monday for the bank to open. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was in control. Instant settlement. Beautiful. So the construct of payment rails being unleashed from SWIFT, ACH, Fedwire. Yes. So stablecoins as a bridge to the ultimate answer, talk about the last trade, we're going to have CeFi. So we have TradFi, we're going to have CeFi, and then ultimately we'll have DeFi. CeFi includes stablecoins. Well, why do I say that? Well, because stablecoins is really just a better fiat, and fiat sucks for many different reasons, but it's way better than central bank digital currency, which could be programmed and they could tell you how and when you could use your money. That would be evil. But stablecoins just backed by fiat, good. And it'll solve the short-term problem for the US of low demand for treasuries. Do I think that has impact for Bitcoin? Yes and no. See, to me, Bitcoin is digital gold. It's the new base layer of money. Gold's been the base layer of money for 5,000 years. Gold will be for the next 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever. And what does that mean? Well, today central banks buy gold. They put it in warehouses, and then they have, Fedwire, ACH, and the Visa, MasterCard networks. I don't actually use physical money anymore. I just use my credit card, and I settle up once a month. And so those rails are supported by the banking industry, and it's about a 7 trillion with a T suck from people. And it's great for Jamie Dimon and all the banks. That gets disrupted by stables. So, if I want to send money to my mythical mother-in-law in El Salvador, my mother-in-law's in Tulsa, but if she was in El Salvador and I sent her money, it would cost 30 cents on the dollar to send her through Western Union. But if I use Strike app or stablecoin, I could do it for free. So that's better. Okay. But, somebody's gain is someone else's loss. Yes. So those big banks and payment companies are going to have a tough time. So I'm a huge fan of stablecoins. And I think all transactions will run on digital rails. To me, the difference is I still live in a fiat world. I can't pay my taxes in Bitcoin. I can buy Steak and Shake, I guess, but most things I can't buy. So I put as much as I can into Bitcoin and Metaplanet and things like that. because ultimately Metaplan, I just own Bitcoin, as my savings. For my fiat, I don't want it in cash because that gets devalued. I'd rather it be in a stable form, and that, is a good thing. But ultimately, and Murray Stahl says this better than I do. He runs Horizon Kinetics in New York. And like I said, Murray's the only guy I know who makes me seem bearish. Like he makes me seem like Bitcoin is going to zero, which is crazy. But I think Bitcoin displacing gold and having the monetary value, and I say it's half of the monetary value, which today is 25, so that's 12 and a half, something like that. And some would say, no, it's higher than that. Maybe it's closer to 20. Fine, let's call it 20 trillion. So gold at 20 trillion, that's $1 million Bitcoin. Done. Awesome. Easy. 24 months, I'm going to take the over. I'll tell you exactly how many months. It is June, July, August, September. 52 months, we'll hit $1 million. Because every halving, we add a zero. So this halving, we added a zero to 100K. Next halving, we add a zero to $1 million. But we won't hit that until the end of the Bitcoin fall, right before Bitcoin winter. So this fall will be October. We'll have the crash, then we'll have to come back, then we'll have the halving, and then we'll have the ramp into 2029. So 2029, September, we'll hit $1 million. And so I forgot I didn't remember long story short. I said for Bitcoin Pizza Day, I would just wear my pants, and then tomorrow I'll wear shorts. So, and look, Bitcoin Pizza Day is important. And people make fun of Laszlo because, he gave away 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. If he would have kept them, he'd have $1.1 billion. Yeah, sure. But that transaction is one of, and it's not the only, but it's one of the key points that allowed us to get where we are. I say this all the time. The miracle of Bitcoin is not that we just went from 74K to 111K. It's not that we went from 10,000 to 60,000 or even 1,000 to 10,000. The miracle is that we went from 0.0003 to $1. That's the miracle. The fact that it actually caught, that the technology actually caught on, and doing a transaction was what we needed. And we're a year in, right? It was May 22nd, 2010. So we're more than a year in, a year away from Hal Finn saying run in Bitcoin. And so it's pretty important. And he did create also the first GPU miner, which pretty big deal. So lots of contributions to our stacks.
According to Mark Yusko, Bitcoin might hit $1 million by September 2029, although this will depend on a few significant developments. The first step is to improve the financial system. Due to sluggish transactions, exorbitant fees, and an excessive number of middlemen, trillions are currently wasted. To address this, stablecoins are already being used. They are quicker, less expensive, and more effective than conventional fiat money, notwithstanding its flaws. Between the current monetary system and the rapidly developing digital financial world, they serve as a link. Second, as a type of digital gold, Bitcoin has to keep expanding. This implies that more people are losing faith in fiat currencies. More fund managers are included in their portfolios, and more institutional investors are purchasing it. For further updates on Bitcoin and the wider world of digital assets, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable post notifications before we go any further. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
So, again, that's a lot of words about. I love stablecoins. I love everything they represent. I think they're a stepping stone to ultimate. So Murray's point is that, okay, yeah, fine. You're talking about gold as the base layer of money, but I'm talking about all this fiat. And I tweeted this out the other day. It's a big pyramid like this with a little pyramid like this. And this is Bitcoin and this is fiat. And literally he's saying all that fiat is going to push into the bottom, and that bottom pyramid is going to look like this. And it's all going to be orange and all the green's going to go away. So he's like, it's 100 trillion, which is, meaningfully higher than $1 million a coin. One thing about the Donald is he's an incredible opportunist. And he does surround himself on occasion with some really smart people. Not always. There's plenty of examples where he does the opposite. But on occasion, he gets some really smart people around him. And so it's amazing. We are 1 year away. I mean, about to do Bitcoin 2025 in Vegas next week. We're only 1 year away from Nashville, where someone said, geez, you got to go to this event because, we've done the math and there's a lot of voters and they're one issue voters. And if you say these things about Bitcoin, and I'm sure some of you guys were there, he got up on stage. And my favorite part was, he does the free Ross and everybody's happy. But my favorite part was when he said, and on day one, I will fire Gary Gensler. And the crowd went batshit crazy. And you could see in his eyes, he's like, oh my God. That was like a drug. That was awesome. Like, I'm going to say that again. And he said it again, and the crowd went even more batshit crazy. And so he didn't believe any of this stuff. But David Bailey and others have really done a good job educating. And, whether it's Barron or Eric or, whatever, but there's been some education. And again, hopefully, Donald's walking around with a Bitcoin account that he's going to pay stuff. He tried doing it at the pub key one time and it didn't work, but whatever. So, but his level of education did rise, which then said it was okay for some of the other people. And we always had Senator Lummis and others, because Caitlin did a good job with her. But there was an amazing number of people, Patrick Henry from our district here in North Carolina. I mean, there's been a lot of people who they were willing to be courageous. And look, at the end of the day, all great investments, all great fortunes come from courage. And it's my pinned tweet on Twitter, right? You got to invest in innovation. To invest means you got to invest in something that you believe in before others even understand it. And you'll be mocked and ridiculed for your non-consensus actions. It's totally worth it. I mean, that's not just drivel. I mean, that's truth. Everyone who's ever created anything really big was labeled as a heretic, because if you do what everyone else does, it's already in the price and you don't really make that much. If you do something different, then you have a chance.
Mark Yusko started off by thinking back on the well-known Bitcoin Pizza Day meme in which someone paid 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. Although people today frequently make jokes about it, Yusko claims the transaction was crucial to the development of Bitcoin. He highlights that the fact that Bitcoin ever hit $1 was the true miracle, not the fact that it rose from $10,000 to $60,000. The innovation that demonstrated Bitcoin could function as money was the transition from almost worthless code to a functional digital currency. According to him, stablecoins serve as a link between the decentralized financial future and the traditional fiat world. He explains why stablecoins backed by fiat provide a freedom-preserving option, even though central bank digital currencies could end up being instruments of governmental control. By raising demand for short-term treasuries, they are also assisting the United States in navigating the present low demand in bond markets, which is a practical issue. According to Yusko, Bitcoin is the new foundation of money, or digital gold. Digital assets like Bitcoin will be the foundation of the coming era, much like central banks keep actual gold in vaults. He thinks that Bitcoin will eventually replace gold as the medium of exchange as more organizations and governments embrace it. Additionally, Bitcoin will reach $1 million per coin whenever it accounts for even half of the $20 trillion market capitalization of gold. After Bitcoin's regular halving cycle, he projects that this will occur by September 2029. His model is straightforward. The price of Bitcoin drops by 0 with each halving. The halving in 2024 aims for $100,000. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications if you thought his viewpoint was helpful so you don't miss any updates. We'd love to know what you think about the future of cryptocurrency markets, so please share your ideas in the comments section. We appreciate your time and hope to see you in the next video.